Hey guys, I'm Dimension Jump, and today I'll be doing my top 5 video games that could get their own TV or movie adaptation. Now, when this video is released, the Mario movie, or the Mario Galaxy movie, will have already been released, and because we now have a lot of adaptations of video games, like The Last of Us, Mario Galaxy, well, not Mario Galaxy, the Mario series having their own games. There's also the Sonic games. We're also getting a sequel to Mortal Kombat, and there's also going to be God of War coming out. I think there's a TV show coming out in the future. And I think there's going to be some more adaptations of video games sometime down the line. I think, if I remember correctly, I think there's like another one coming out soonish, I think. But, oh, not soon, but like, further down the line. I could be wrong. I remember like a good handful. But with video games currently having their own sort of adaptation renaissance of sorts, as you could say, kind of similar to how comic book movies became more the rage, like with the MCU, the Tim Burton Batman movies, that sort of thing. This video is just going to be me talking about some video games that could potentially get either their own TV show or their own movies. So yeah, so for number 5 is Date Everything. Now, with Date Everything, the basic premise is that you're not only given, but also you're basically at the start of the game you are fired from your job, but you then later you're given a pair of sunglasses which helps you make anything or any inanimate object in your house, not your room, or in your room, but also in your house, come to life. And I think this would be a very good TV show. I think there's at least two good seasons worth of a show for Date Everything, because the game is very comedic. It has a lot of like comedic elements, and it can have some darker moments here and there, depending on who you interact with. But a lot of the game is comedic. It does have the comedic element. So I would say 2 to 3 seasons would be fantastic, or be a good thing to do for the show, for the game, because you can have a lot of comedic elements. You can have like some episodes that are quite comedic, some episodes that are quite dark in tone or something like that. And yeah, I think this is one of those things that you can do a lot of things with when it comes to like the character interactions. Obviously, a lot of it will be from a lot of like the dialogue options and stuff from the game and stuff like that. But I think having a lot of the characters come to life in the show would be quite cool. I don't think you could possibly make this into a film. You could possibly make this into like a trilogy, maybe at best, or one movie. But I think it'll be quite difficult to try and make this into a big, multi-layered, well, not multi-layered, but like multi-shared film series, kind of like how the MCU is doing it. If it was a film, it'll probably just be a trilogy or just one singular film. But it will be really cool to see like how this game would be adapted. For number 4 is Hollow Knight, as well as Hollow Knight Silksong. Now, this would be a good 2-season or so show. I would say, like, I think it could work well as a movie, but I think if it was a TV show, both Hollow Knight and Hollow Knight Silksong could take the classic Monster of the Week format, where you're in each episode there's a new area that's explored, and then you find like the main monster you need to fight, and then the story continues, and then you might fight like hornets, or you might have to fight any of like the bosses in the main areas, that sort of thing. And that'd be really cool to see, just like how you can take this small little these 2 indie games and just make them to like this big like 2-season TV show. That'd be really cool to see something like that. For number 3 is Shadow of the Colossus. Now, with this, I think this can heavily lean into the movie format, and I think this could be, if Shadow of the Colossus was ever turned into a movie, I think this could go down the Demon Slayer route, in the sense that with Demon Slayer, it's currently in its final arc, and there being the whole Infinity Castle arc, and with that, they've basically split that into 3 movies. So the first movie is like the whole setup, but also like the beginnings of that arc. Then they got the second movie, which is like the halfway point, and then the final movie, which is like everyone coming together to fight the final villain. And Shadow of the Colossus could go down that similar route in the sense that with it's split into 3 movies, with the first movie having Wanda fight the first 3 Colossus, or Colossi, and then the second movie being the second batch of Colossi, and then the last movie will probably be the final few Colossi plus the final moments of the game. And yeah, it'd be really cool to see because like with the whole world of Shadow of the Colossus, it's basically you're in this giant barren wasteland, and it's visually interesting to look at because even though there isn't a whole lot, you can get a whole lot of visuals out of that, like when it comes to the temple or the Colossi themselves, and yeah, it'd be really cool to see. And I think there'll be a lot of really interesting cinematography you can do with that sort of game if you adapt it into a movie series. And yeah, seeing this sort of thing just being adapted would be really cool to see, and how each Colossi is handled and how each of the fights handle out. So yeah, that'd be something quite cool to see. For number 2 is Outer Wilds. Now with this could be a 1-season TV show or a trilogy of movies. And because this game is similar to Shadow of the Colossus, it's visually interesting because of all the different planets you can explore, and the premise of the show or of the game is that you're stuck in a time loop and you have to figure out how to get out of it and stuff like that. And you could do a lot of really cool stuff with that sort of thing. Like in one season of the TV show, the main character could almost get to the end of the time loop, but then in the final episode, something happens, and then they have to go back to the first day again, or start the time loop, not the first day again. And then the second season, they've done a lot of stuff in the first season, but then they are more prepared for the second season, and then in the second season they could go through all the different planets and then get out of the time loop. And if it was a TV show, I'm guessing it'd probably be 1 or 2 seasons, depending on, I think, mainly how many episodes there could be. But also, I think this could be a good small movie series. Again, could be a trilogy, could be 2 movies, or could just be 1 movie. But yeah, I think Outer Wilds could be a really cool, interesting thing to see being adapted. And for number 1 is Octopath Traveler. Now, with this game, I think this could be a really fun. I think it will be quite difficult to adapt this into a movie. So I think this could be a very good TV show because you'll have more time to develop the characters, and this could be a good 12 to 20-ish episode show. When it comes to like the seasons, because like you can have like 1 season for like character developments, and then second season could be we get to know more about these characters. Then in season 3, probably being the final one, we could see like the end of those character storylines and just seeing the conclusion to the whole game when it comes to the story and adapting all these characters. Because with Octopath Traveler, it's one of those few games that it has a lot of characters and that you can play as, and there's a lot of different storylines, and it'll be very difficult to adapt into a 2.5-hour movie. So I think a TV show will do a whole lot better than a film, because with a TV show you can do a lot of character development. You can like take stuff from the games and put in. Well, obviously it's an adaptation, but you might want the developers could add some small extra stuff. But I think it'll be really cool to see how all these different characters interact, how we get to know them a whole lot more, stuff like that, and just Just seeing them just explore the world and stuff like that will be really, really cool to see. Those being my top 5 video games that could get their own adaptations. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video.